welcome to the live show. It's been a long time. I've been a bit absent, but I'm back. Thank you for joining, 15 people. I only announce on noise.cash live streamed, and I only publish on noise.cash my portfolio and other valuable investment advice or opinion. Um, Often only on noise.cash, but also sometimes on Twitter. But then it's because I see valuable things on Twitter and I retweet it or I comment on it. But when it's like coming from me, usually it's just and exclusively on noise.cash to promote the platform. But so I hope that if you missed this live show, that you subscribe to me also on noise.cash and start following me there. Social media needs renewal. Twitter is a great platform, but there are some problems with it that I think noise.cash addresses, such as um, well, the problem with Twitter is that you're helping Jack Dorsey, and Jack Dorsey is not a friend of Bitcoin Cash. To the contrary, he is a friend to the BTC maximalist gang, and the censorship. And not only that, of course, he's in cahoots with the U.S. government. He has no choice there. The U.S. government forces him to, just like they force YouTube also and Google also, to censor certain people, even presidents, as we have seen last year, can be censored by these platforms. And many people in the anarcho-capitalist voluntarist community end up losing their channels or Twitter accounts after putting so many years of work into it, because they just get banned for no good reason. Huh? Um, so I think the biggest difference we can make is to see cryptocurrency succeed, see currency and state be separated, and I think we of course overestimate, as the saying goes, what happens in the short term. We think it will go faster than it will go in reality, but in the long term we underestimate how much change is coming. So that means that over the next few years, don't expect the world to change, but over the next 10, 20 years, it will change dramatically. Huh? So and Noise.cash not only is not just neutral to Bitcoin Cash, it's actually really helping. It's the best instrument we have to see adoption for Bitcoin Cash. It's a real big thing, I think, for the Bitcoin Cash that that Simon created this with his team, Noise.cash, because yeah, it's really a great platform to use, and you make money sharing your work, and yeah, I think that might be the future also. And Noise.cash is doing very well. It's a good project. It's growing well. People love the product, and that's very important. Huh? So join if you haven't yet. So I've thought about investing, as I always do, especially when I take a break. But it was under the influence of marijuana, so the ideas might not be top quality. It's for you to judge. But as an investor, I think I can improve my performance by following the title better. Keep your winners, cut your losers. there was research done in which investors are the most successful, and there was a clear pattern where the investors that the what what many investors do when they start out is sell winners because they made a profit and they want to lock in the profit, and buy more from their losers because they think it's cheap, and and they see an opportunity. But the problem is that actually there are not so many winners in the market. From the 100 potential investments, let's say from 100 investments, how many end up winning? That's 10 or less. So only 10% ends up becoming really a successful investment, and only 1% becomes like a truly magnificent investment. But 90% are losers. And so if you look at it statistically, if you are going to cut back your winners, then you're just never gonna become rich, because that's how you become rich. You really need to let your winners run and not cut them off. And and inversely, how do you lose money? Well, with losers, and especially if you double down on them, and they end up going to zero, losses are big. So but for me, I have never really applied that. I have always looked at fundamentals and not at price. And actually, if price goes down, I look at it as a positive, because that means there is something that's cheap. If then in combination with improved or good fundamentals, then you have a buying opportunity. And I still believe that. But I think the difference, something I'm going to change, or I'm in the process of changing, is that once you made the investment, what do you do then? Because okay, that's how you find investments, of course, during crisis, when prices have gone down, and when fundamentals are good. That's how you make great investments. But after that, like some of these investments, even if you bought them that way, end up going nowhere or down, and others go up. And for example, with me, with the oil tankers, it went sideways for a year. And for me, that's a loss, because of course that's a big missed opportunity in so many other investments that did well. And what I would have said up until before was, yeah, but the fundamentals are still good, so I'm sticking with it. Or if the price would go down and the fundamentals improve, I'm doubling down, buying more. But the problem with that strategy is that sometimes I'm wrong, and it's not because the fundamentals are bad. The fundamentals look good to me, but I'm wrong, because the fundamentals are not good. I think they are good, but they are not good. Or the time is not there. Even though the fundamentals are good, the time is not there for this investment to succeed. The market is not ready. Or it's a reason you don't know. And I don't like, I'm not a technical trader. I think actually that's really what many people do wrong, is buying something that has gone up already a lot, or selling something that has gone down already a lot because technical indicators become bullish or bearish. No, but I do believe that once you are in investment, that then price performance does become important as a feedback mechanism. Because if price goes down and you say, yeah, but fundamentals have improved, let's double down, careful, because you may be wrong, because in the end, winners and losers are decided by price performance and not by fundamentals. So if it has gone up a lot, it was a winner. If it has gone sideways or down, it was a loser. And it doesn't matter whether the fundamentals were good or bad. So once you're in an investment, I do think it's wise to also take into account price performance on whether to judge you're sitting on a winner or a loser. Huh? And I think I'm gonna go do that more. Um, yeah. Bitcoin Cash is, of course, also an interesting example that has done poorly price wise, has lost the ranking in the cryptocurrency world, dropped now to 12th or 13th spot, and came from the third or even the second spot once, or the third once 3 years ago, when it was initially launched and forked off BTC. But since then it has been a continual loss in market ranking, market share, actually cut by 10 in market share from a high of about 8% of total market cap. Total crypto market cap, 8% was the peak or so for BCH in 2017, and today it's less than 1%, like 0.5 or 0.8%. So that's poorly done price wise, huh? But yet I have continued to build my stash and sold winners such as Ethereum to build my stash. Looking back on it, of course, that was not the right move. When you look at my portfolio performance, huh? I started to do this process like 1 year ago when we had the Corona crash in March of 2020. BCH dropped to $150 and Ethereum dropped to $100. I ended up buying more, having a higher exposure of Ethereum than Bitcoin Cash, because our Bitcoin Cash just didn't drop enough. But over time, I sold my Ethereum to build my Bitcoin Cash stash. But since then, of course, Ethereum has gone up from $100 to how much is it now? $3,000 or 2,500 or 2,000? That's times 20, whereas or 25, whereas BCH has gone up from $150 to $700, and that's times 3 or so. So like it's a huge difference in performance, huh? And the right strategy was there to just basically keep the investments as is, huh? And not sell the winner for an underperformer, huh? Of course, there are other things that are at play, huh? You do have to like follow your heart when it comes to investing. Um, follow your gut. That's important also. But I decided to basically sell almost all my Ethereum for BCH, and I think I've overdone that. I also came to realize that when I had a critique on Colin Talks Crypto, who shared his portfolio, and there was almost no BCH, like it was less than 5% or so of his portfolio, and then BTC was a very big exposure, and Ethereum also. And for me, that was like I found that way too small of a BCH exposure for someone who's an expert in cryptocurrency, who knows who sees the value in BC, who understands the value of Bitcoin Cash. Yet it doesn't show in his portfolio at all, I would say. But and his rebuttal was that like he invested enough in BCH and he doesn't want to lose more, and lose more opportunity, and so he has just let his investments run, and that's the end result of his portfolios, that BCH has become a small exposure because his other investments has been a lot better, and gone up a lot more. So I think like that's the other extreme, when you don't add anything to your position, even when it has become a very small exposure in portfolio, and fundamentals have been good, as has been the case with BCH. Fundamentals have been improving a lot. Not adding anything to that position, I find also like not a wise move. But doing it the way I did, by continuing to sell your top performers for this investment, was also not the right move. So I think somewhere in the middle is probably a better approach. So yeah, thanks for joining the live show. 37 people. Let's take a look at the questions. Put the link in the description. Marc says send crypto. Of what? LA Matt Witch asked, what do you really think happened to Jean-Marc Cafe? I went into that in the interview with the Bitcoin Cash podcast that I also share on my YouTube channel. You have a section interviews on the homepage, and I did two big interviews the past month, a month ago, one with the Bitcoin Cash podcast and the other one with Gold Dust. Both of them are 2 hours and 3 hours and a half, so very long. And one of them, Bitcoin podcast, we talk about McAfee. So check it out. I already went over this, and it's also nicely bookmarked when I talk about these topics. So you can just click on it. You don't have to do the whole video. But I can summarize it also for you, LA Matt. I think that McAfee was killed. I think it's likely that he was killed in prison by the Spanish authorities in cooperation with US authorities. And I think the reason why he got killed is because they didn't want to give him a process and more exposure for his radical ideas that go against, especially the IRS. Hi, hi guys, so nice to see you all. So update on cryptocurrency market. Since I made a video a month or 2 months ago, my last video, it was a very depressed climate in crypto. We continue to go down to about 1.2, actually exactly 1.2 trillion from a high of 2.5, so cut by 2, a little bit over cut by 2, the total market cap. And it was painful for many people, and the climate became very bearish. But we never went below the all-time high of 800 million of the previous bull market. And since then, a month ago, we bounced very strongly to back at 2.2 trillion today. So from 1.2 to 2.2 trillion in 1 month. And that's also what I had predicted, that the chance is very high that this bull market is not finished. And thanks to Colin Talks, crypto has many, sadly only BTC indicators that he's following, but all these indicators show that it's very unlikely that the top was at 2.5 trillion 3 months ago or so. No, it's very likely this bull market was not finished, and very few people kept being bullish. A month ago, many people became bearish, but I continue to stay bullish about crypto, and it proved right. But it's only really right when the all-time high breaks of 2.5 trillion. So let's see if that happens. But I think that's likely, and also shoot through strongly to new highs. So I think we're still on track for this bull market to reach its all-time high at the end of the year or early next year of about 8 trillion. Also was interesting in the interview with Gold Dust to see that he also, from his own independent calculations, came to this number a little bit higher, 10 trillion. I found that interesting also. But for example, the Bitcoin podcast interview I did, he was bearish. He was predicting that we're in a bear market, and I think that I've proven him wrong already in 1 month. Although I haven't proven him wrong yet, but if the all-time high breaks, yes, I have. I have also enjoyed my trip to Europe very much. I was so happy to see that the COVID craze is going down there, and I was able to not wear masks in public in Belgium, Netherlands, Denmark, Germany. Yes, you don't have to wear masks in public. I like it very much because here in Kenya they actually force you to wear masks in public, which is of course crazy. That you have to wear masks everywhere, even if you do a walk alone in the forest. But I've heard some crazy stories still in South Africa, South America, that it's much worse there still. And not only do you have to wear masks, there's still severe lockdowns, curfews, and absolutely crazy restrictions on personal freedom. Can't even get out of your house without permission today. Like, it's crazy. So some countries have absolutely lost it, and are destroying their countries at rapid pace. But I do think that my prediction that I have made from the start, that this will fly over, and it's just propaganda for the most part, and it's just to create fear and to squeeze citizens and taxpayers from more money, like all these hysterias are. It's just another one of those, and they do fly over. Um, though some are quite though it takes a long time, they fly over, but it's like the new scam, the new popular scam that the government elites use. So of course, and I had underestimated that. Like, it does come back, and it does remain a big topic. I had expected it to fly over a lot faster. I was wrong in my time estimation, but I do see a clear trend of it flying over, albeit slowly. The scam continues to pop up here and there, quite severely. And of course, these vaccinations are very concerning. I had met some family in Belgium, and they had all taken 2 vaccinations already. I was very surprised to hear that. But also, it's true that all those that don't want vaccinations tend to have done research or are skeptical of government, whatever the government says, whereas all those that do vaccinations have done little research into the topic. So that's an interesting pattern. But I strongly, I think it's dangerous to take that vaccination. I would not do this myself. And I hope that 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 I can continue to go to my favorite countries and enjoy their places without being forced to vaccinate it, because that's not going to happen. I'm just gonna not go there anymore. And that may also be Europe, where they are thinking of some of these countries, like actually in France, they already did that. You can't even go to restaurants without vaccination. That is crazy, huh? So but let's hope that that things calm down a bit there. But overall, I see a much more positive evolution. When I went a year ago to Europe, it was really a crisis climate. Few people in the street, many businesses closed. That's over. That's over in Europe. People have moved on. They don't want to stay inside anymore, and it's full. The economy is back in full force. Huh? LA Matt says, tip, use Google Trends to track popular coins. Yeah. Hi Shane M. I think, like Shane M says, that I put my crypto to work as much as possible because I want to earn income from it, and right now nothing beats Ethereum to get an income, and for this reason I will keep a healthy bag of Ethereum throughout the bull run. Cash flow is important, he says. Well, I would agree with the conclusion, but not with the argument. I think that yes, it is important to hold a stash of Ethereum, or something that's strongly correlated, such as what I have, DPI, a DeFi Pulse Index. I mean, if Ethereum is successful, very likely the DeFi protocols built on top of it will also be very successful. So that's strongly correlated, but it has a leverage. DeFi protocols will likely go up even more than Ethereum, so that's why I prefer that. And indeed, it has not lost even, well, actually a little bit. DPI, since I invested, has lost a little bit versus Ethereum, but not much. And I think that as the bull run progresses, it will go up versus Ethereum. But I think cash flow is severely overestimated and always leads to, I mean, or dividend payments. Like if you value to get money from your business, this is an old concept, of course. Many traditional investors have been successful with this approach, but for me personally, not. It doesn't work. Like if I start to look at these kind of metrics, I always end up making bad investments. You have to also look at what are you good at. Huh? But for example, that was one of my arguments to invest in oil tankers was, look at how much money they make. It's crazy. Even if the stock does not go up in value, you'll get it via dividends paid out, so you're good. But look at me 1 year later. Yeah, I got some dividends, but they don't. If there is no capital appreciation, that's really not worth that much. And maybe that's at 5% or so, or maybe 10 or 10% you get in dividends. Okay, but we are not here to make 10% returns. So capital appreciation is super important, and that's what I'm focused on, and that's where I'm good at. So I don't think it's wise. I mean, it depends what kind of investor you are, but if you want to become rich, do you know someone who became rich with dividend investing, or focused on cash flow of businesses? Like usually, like, there are exceptions, but usually the people that become rich from investing or entrepreneurship, it's because of strong capital appreciation. And I think that will continue to be true. So Ethereum, I think that it has, but Ethereum has that also. Like it does have the potential to go up a lot. Now, it's already valued, I think, very well, but it's likely to become bigger as BTC and get the first. Well, once you're the biggest coin, you have many spoils that come to you, and that still has to come for Ethereum. So I think capital appreciation will be very good there, and my predicted top there is 10K for Ethereum. That's still a 3x, 4x. But I have not sold any Bitcoin Cash. I have continued to invest in it. My exposure is big. My crypto exposure, because I've not done well with my gold shorts. And then of course I have airlines, I have oil tankers. If I look at my stock portfolio, my gold shorts, the put options have all expired, worthless up until now, which is of course yeah, that's 5% of my portfolio that I lost there. I still have 5% left in my puts in GLD. But my airlines have corrected also the past half year, and oil tankers did nothing, and that has caused my stock portfolio to do poorly. I lost maybe 30% or so there this year. But of course crypto did well. So overall I'm up maybe this year 50%. No, I'm only up 20% this year. Last year I did a great performance, but this year not yet. but my crypto exposure has gone up a lot due to crypto doing well the past month and my stock portfolio doing poorly. I'm now at 85% crypto exposure. Of that, maybe 60% is BCH. So I have still a major exposure to BCH, and I'm hopeful that it will go up a lot. I do see positive signs. Just a few days ago, some famous YouTuber posted a very bullish and great video on BTC versus BCH, and I think that that's what I love to see, because I think that Bitcoin Cash is the real Bitcoin, is a very strong slogan, and a very I think will capture the market and will cause Bitcoin Cash to go up a lot. And I see that happening here, and I love to see that. But on the other hand, it has to be said that I just checked coin fair value, and Bitcoin Cash always used to be below, the price used to be below its fair value. That's not the case anymore. Now it's actually equal to its fair value, the $700 we are at now. Coin fair value website also estimates that to be its fair value. And then there are like 10-15 coins that are indeed undervalued, but Bitcoin Cash is not one of them anymore, which is of course not positive. I'd rather invest in an undervalued coin if you look at all these different metrics, such as coin fair value does. But that can change also. The reason why this has happened, I think, is mainly because Noise.cash has caused a lot of extra transactions, but then started to allow people to bundle their transactions. Because before Noise.cash, every time you tipped someone, or the fund tipped someone, and that were small tips of 1 cent to many users, that was always a transaction on the BCH network, and that caused many transactions. But now you can say, don't send to my wallet anymore 1 cent transaction in BCH. Only send when you have $10, for example, or $100, and then you send one transaction of a large amount instead of many transactions with small amounts. This has caused the amount of transaction on the BCH network to decline again. But we're still a lot higher than where we were before Noise.cash. So I think that but of course these metrics are coin fair value looks at all these metrics. Amount of transactions is one of them, to judge whether a coin is undervalued or not, and where its fair value lays. But of course, I think that Bitcoin Cash, considering transactions are very cheap and continue to be very cheap, while the amount of features on the Bitcoin Cash network goes up, especially now with Smart BCH, where it will allow DeFi, or a lot of DeFi applications on top of BCH. I think something that's cheap and good will go up in usage, and Bitcoin Cash clearly is that. Like, I was watching another video about a venture capitalist who had made very good money with a few VC investments, and what he said was, in the end, you do have to invest in companies that either offer a product or service that is either better, cheaper, or faster. And he used the word or, not and. It just has to be one of those. It can be cheaper and offering the same, or it can be faster and be as expensive, or it can be better in some form but be the same price. Like, that's what you need. That's something that will gain traction, gain adoption, gain market share. And I think for Bitcoin Cash, clearly you can say it's not even an or, it's an and. Indeed, it is better. Let us start with the cheaper and faster. It's easy. Yes, it's cheaper to do transactions there. Yes, it's faster. to do transactions there, and yes, it's better in so many ways. The value of a cryptocurrency comes from it's that it's non-censorable, and that you can really own your coins, that there is no counterparty risk. You cannot do that anymore with BTC due to high transaction fees. And if you want to do fast transactions, you have to use second layers with counterparty risk, the Lightning Network, and so it's better in many ways. So I think that Bitcoin Cash clearly has good fundamentals still. But I have also to admit that I may be wrong. The market is disagreeing right now. Price has been poor, the performance, and I may be wrong. That's certainly possible also. Hi all, welcome to the live show. 43 people. Hi Erendemir. Hi Stefan. Yeah, as you can see in the comment section, also sentiment around Bitcoin Cash is also the way I perceive it. It's bad. People are disappointed with its price performance, and I agree, and I have the same feeling. But to sell it now or to lower my exposure, I think is not a wise move and will prove to be a very costly and missed opportunity over the next half year. I think that Bitcoin Cash will go up a lot and will catch up with the gains that other coins have made. BTC, that will not be a problem, but even with Ethereum, because it's just like the it's in the air. I was just looking also at a great interview with 4 people together. Cathie Wood, Elon Musk, and Jack Dorsey about Bitcoin, recently made. And someone at the door, one moment. And Elon Musk was making the case that actually it's ridiculous not to scale a Bitcoin. The block size, Moore's law easily allows for bigger blocks. And hello. Come in. Huh? The children are back, prepared for a show. Yeah, you can. Yeah. Yeah, you can leave them, huh? Okay. 3 kids, and I'm the only one here. I'm sorry, guys, this will be torture. No ladies in the house to help me out. Huh? Put your shoes out and also your bag and your hat. Huh? They are back from the baby suit. Not now, Joy. No swimming in the pool. She has grown a lot, Joy. She's talking now. A real sweetheart. Where was I? Yeah, so Elon. Yes, Joy. Not now. I'm talking to someone. Okay, you play a little bit. Yeah. Yes, you play with Mikey. Huh? And yes, and Tintin also. And Mikey has grown a lot also. And Tintin especially is walking now. Huh? And is a real is giving baby fever to all the ladies. This one, eh? And if you want to make a baby, you show a cute one to your lady, huh? And she'll be convinced. But Elon Musk is just making the case there that they just should scale on chain, That's much better, and that's why he basically dropped it. Then they're arguing about energy, but that's just bullshit. This whole energy discussion you don't even have to have, because inflation goes down over time with BTC and BCH, and so the amount of energy used to secure the network always goes down versus its value. And so it's really a non-issue how much energy Bitcoin is using with proof of work, because it goes down over time, and it goes less and less compared to the value of the network. So Elon Musk is talking about that, but this is not the real reason why he dropped it. He dropped it because he realized, as a noob, as a crypto noob, like, what the fuck did they do with BTC here? Like, it's not even, you can't even use it as a currency anymore. That's why he dropped it as a currency on the Tesla website, because he realized, I'm not going to sell many cars here with BTC. And I don't want to support a network like that. And so he went to Dogecoin, and he has bought some Dogecoin and a little bit of Ethereum, seeing that BTC will not be it. Oh, she has water already. How did you get water, Joy? I didn't give water. So it's in the air that more, and Cathie Wood is on the same conversation. Jack Dorsey also, of course. Jack Dorsey, I don't think he's an honest man, so I don't expect much from him. But Cathie Wood, for example, is just not so informed about crypto yet, and I think like people like that will start to see also that BTC was hijacked and is being sabotaged, and that it was very easy, and it is still very easy, to raise its block size and scale on chain. And indeed, the network will continue to be decentralized. And Elon Musk was even saying, like, no, people don't need to run a node from their house. That's not that should not be the point. And that's the argument these people make to not increase the block size. But that's a foolish argument. He also said, because that's ridiculous. Nodes will be run by companies and bigger entities and bigger companies, and that's not a problem. You still will have plenty of nodes if the overall network indeed grows. So I can see all the arguments that were made in the past by Bitcoin Cash supporters and big blockers are now being spread by big people, big influencers. And yeah, today they choose for Dogecoin, but tomorrow they will likely recognize publicly that Bitcoin Cash is a good investment. Fly plane now, later, okay? Later. And Mike, you want to play that? Yeah, maybe there inside, because that's too much noise. If you want to play with that, you can play there inside. You play here. Come. And then we have a baby running around here. Tintin. Where is Tintin? She's up. Tintin is now running around. Hi, Tintin. What are you doing? Come. You come down? You come down? Yes. I think she's okay. She's not falling from the steps. She learned that she needs to sit on her ass if she wants to go from the steps. Tintin, you sit when you want to go down, okay? Yeah, and now she wants to be carried. Come. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So that's why I'm still very bullish on Bitcoin Cash, because I think this knowledge is clearly sipping through to major influencers in the world, big YouTubers and big personalities like Elon Musk. So I think we will see that in this bull market spreading more. But of course, it will be a gradual process. Also, and slow. This is a disaster, guys. So let me take a look at the questions. Aditya says, "Oh, I can't even go into that. Like seriously." Yes, so I just did a Trololo calculation. We're now about 200% overvalued versus the trend line again. But that's nothing compared to where we're going, huh? Which is likely 800%. So I don't think it's the right time to sell crypto right now. Zeg, that's so much noise. I'm gonna sit inside. You can make noise here. Okay? Joy? One moment. Joy, can you stop making noise? And you build the tower, okay? So let your winners run. Is certainly applicable here in cryptocurrency. Even though the market has recovered to 2.2 trillion, I don't feel euphoric at all. And that's also a good indicator that it's not a good time to sell. I'm not proud of myself yet, and it's only when you have that feeling like wow, and oh, this is gonna go much higher, that you're basically captured by euphoria, and when you're counting how rich you will become, and if you think you're really an amazing investor, usually that's the time to lock in some profits, but that's not the case with me right now. Classic David, hi, nice to see you. Hi Mark, our bet from April still stands. Classic David, can you remind me the bet? I think you also predicted a bear market. Yeah, I don't know. I might be wrong. Help me remind. No, you didn't predict a bear market. I retweeted it on Twitter, that YouTuber that made a video of Bitcoin Cash. Hi Pantera and Cryptomax, nice to see you guys. And Tali Ho Tech, nice. Many known people. Hi Poliak, yes, I remember you very well. How are you, man? Long time no see. Crypto Max, nice to see you. It's impossible that Elon Musk didn't hear or read about BCH. What do you think he doesn't like about it? Good question, I don't know. I don't know. But I think that Elon Musk is an entrepreneur who became already very rich, and usually they want to get in when it's really small, huh? And that gives most capital appreciation potential, huh? So maybe that's what drives him. That's why he chose Dogecoin over Bitcoin Cash, because there was lots more pump potential for him there. It was valued a lot lower than Bitcoin Cash when he started to pump it. He has bought some of it, so maybe that's why. I don't know. But I think he will also over time see that that's not really going to happen. Like cryptocurrency is like a company and does need to be continuously developed. And you can't just make something and then put it out there and it's going to become a success. No, it requires everyday hard work, and that's not there at Dogecoin. Like now he's trying to push that a bit, but he's going to realize that probably that's not really, like he can't do that. You do need a really community of many other people around it that build the currency out for it to become a success. And I think over time that's why he will probably drop Dogecoin and look for alternatives, and maybe he will then recognize that Bitcoin Cash is good. I don't know, we'll see. Hi, baby. How are you? I'm doing a live show. Very happy you're home, huh?
Yes.
Yes. Very happy.
What is going on here? Who did that?
Polyak, you hold mostly BTC, and you don't care what people are using. It's all one big ecosystem. I don't think that's wise, Polyak, because every new industry has winners and losers, and it was the same in the internet era. And at the time, if you had invested in the biggest the market leaders such as Yahoo and America Online and Netscape and like all these investments went to zero. So you do need to pick the winners of a market, and it's quite simple. You have to look at the fundamentals. Which ones have real adoption, and which ones not, and look at the metrics how they are evolving over time. And you can't close your eyes to that, because you will end up with losers and not capture the gains of a new technology or a new market. So you can't be that's not you can't do that. BTC will not capture the gains from the whole cryptocurrency market. No, BTC will be either a winner or a loser, and that will happen, yeah, over time. Okay, I will check that bad classic David, but yeah, I would appreciate you just let me know what it is, because yeah, I'm not in the market to be right. I'm in the market to make money, and so I don't care much if I'm right or wrong with our bad. But of course, I'm interested how it goes. But yeah. What do you think about the current situation regarding Tether? Says Spunked. Um, yeah, the current situation, it continues to drag on, and it continues to be an important factor in the cryptocurrency world, and continues to influence the markets, um, printing Tether out of thin air and pumping it into the crypto market, buying mainly BTC with it. So these Tether gangsters have stashed a lot of BTC. Let's hope they hold on to them, because otherwise not so good. But I think it has caused BTC to have more market share today than it would have without the Tether scam. But that will one day unravel. But when, it's hard to predict. You can't predict it. Usually it lasts much longer than you expect, and then when you think it's never gonna fall, then suddenly it falls in a very short time. It's just like communism at the time in Russia, or scams like what's the guy, Madoff, who had a 20 billion fund that was a total Ponzi scheme, but he would succeed in lasting for 30 years. whereas all regulators knew about it, were informed about it by people that did some investigation into the fund, discovered early on that he was scamming and doing a Ponzi scheme. It still took another 30 years for it to fall. So it's hard to predict when that's going to happen, and it's not so important. I think what is important, of course, is not store Tether, and I'm still doing the DeFi loans. So I've lent about against my DPI, which is about 15% of my portfolio. I took a loan of about 30% or so of the value of my DPI. So about 5% I have in debt crypto loan, and so that's a negative 5%. And of course, I would get margin calls if DPI drops, but my margin call is around $150 or $180, something like that. And the price has gone up now to $400, so I'm quite safe. But I think that's very interesting if you can loan against assets and then invest it in other investments. Non-correlated investments, I think that's a good approach if you don't overdo it. Like every time people say that's bad or good in a black and white situation, like immigration is bad or is good, well, it's much more nuanced than that. Leverage is bad or good, it's much more nuanced as that. Usually, if you do it with moderation, it's very good, but if you do too much of it, it's very bad. And I think the same applies here to leverage. Taking loans out against your assets, if you do it in moderation, can really be a good force for your portfolio. And so I did that, and I'm very happy with that loan on Cream.finance, and also Aave now offers where you can use DPI as collateral to loan against. But right now my interest payments are quite high, but they are variable, but they are quite high. But what's nice is that you can loan Tether, and that's it's really great to loan Tether, because that means you need to pay back Tether in the future, and chances are that the value of Tether drops through the floor. It stays pegged one-on-one to the US dollar, but it may collapse to zero or 10 cents on the dollar, and then I don't have to pay back these loans. That would be very nice. Interest rates are quite high. I would say like 14% I pay on Cream.finance to loan Tether. That's high, a loan of 14%, but I see that on Aave it's only 10% now. But these things vary based on supply and demand. Actually, it has gone up because a month, 2 months ago when I started, it was less because nobody wanted to lend fiat in the cryptocurrency world. Everybody afraid to lend and invest. But I did, and interest rates were lower. But I miscalculated how agile and flexible DeFi is, and looking like that my interest rate went up so much in like 1-2 months, that sucks. And it's because the crypto world becomes bullish again and everybody wants to take loans again, and that's why interest rates go up if you want to take out a loan. So I invested the proceeds a little bit in crypto, but mainly in other projects. But now I'm with an expensive loan, and that's I don't like that. But it's continually evolving. It's also because I don't get for my collateral interest. The DPI is my collateral. I don't get interest for that. People don't seem to be interested right now to lend to lend DPI, but that may change. So we'll see how it evolves, but it's still worth it for me to be able to borrow at a 15% interest. It's quite high, but it's still way below my returns. If I can borrow at 15% and get a return, of on average 40%, I make a nice profit. I have 3 kids right now, George. Polyak says America Online and Yahoo didn't go to zero. If you bought into either one in 1995, you would have made 50 million at the peak and then maybe 5 million in the end. I'm at a point where I maybe don't care. Well, okay, I should. I'm not sure about those numbers. I would have to verify. America Online AOL ended up buying a Time Warner at the peak of the bubble for way too much money, and when the crash was there, lost so much, 99%. I think to say that you made 5 million after the boom and bust in America Online, from how much start capital you don't mention, but let's say, I don't know, you start with 100,000 maybe and you make 5 million, in the end, from 100,000 to 50 million. I'm not so sure, but okay, it might be true, Polyak, huh? But you say yourself that I'm at the point where I maybe don't care. Well, that's not good, huh? If you don't care, nobody cares. Huh? If you don't care about your portfolio, well, nobody cares. Huh? If you don't care about your well-being, well, nobody cares as much as you do. And if you don't care, it's gonna go down. Huh? You do have to care. Thanks for joining, CryptoMax. Hi, Albert S. Classic David. Thank you for reminding. So we argued that that we were in the that this is the mid of the bull market bubble. With 2.5 trillion as a top. He mentioned that he did call a top at 2.5 trillion, Classic David. He also has a YouTube channel, and he was right that there was actually a top. So actually I was wrong there because I was bullish at the top of 2.5 trillion and I was wrong. It corrected strongly, 50% down. I didn't see that one coming, so that was a poor call of me. But because I was still bullish, I said, yeah, of course, corrections are likely, but the top is not here, so no reason to sell. And my strategy is indeed to not trade my positions and just stay long and ride the small booms and busts out, but capture the big wave. That's my strategy. So but of course my advice was not good. I should have at the time, like Classic David did, warned for a serious correction. After you go peak the all-time high, you break the all-time high of 800 million and you go to 1 trillion, 1.5, 2, 2.5 straight up almost. Well, it's time for a serious correction, and that was well predicted of Classic David, and poorly of me. But where we differed was that I think he made the case that I argued we are going back into serious undervaluation after summer. So that was his argument, that he thought that this was a major top and we would go into serious undervaluation on the Trololo chart after summer. And I think that's so unlikely, because that didn't happen in previous bubbles. Once you go into undervaluation on the Trollo chart, that means today that we would go below 800, 900 billion. That's where the trend line stands. Once we go below that, and we're in undervaluation, the bull market in the past has always been over. That's why I value the Trello trend line so highly. Even in the correction in 2013, when you had a major correction in the middle of the bull market, you didn't go below the Trololo trend line. Huh? So to predict that we go into serious undervaluation means you're predicting a bear market. Huh? And means you predicted that the top was in at 2.5 trillion, and I have disagreed strongly with it. And of course, once we corrected from 2.5 trillion to 1.2 trillion, many people thought the bear market was over, and that's only 1 month ago. Huh? And since then, it bounced very strongly. So, classic David, you're reminding me here that the bet is still on, but the bet is going strongly against you right now. Huh? We have not gone into undervaluation during the correction, and we went to the bottom was 50% overvaluation. Trend line stands at 800 billion. We went to 1.2 trillion, so that means we're still 50% in overvaluation. That was the bottom, huh? And now we're back at 200% overvaluation. So I think that how do you say that? Empirically, yeah, it shows that that it's unlikely to happen here for you. Huh? Jack Dorsey says, Aditya, hi Aditya, his entire investments depend on Bitcoin not succeeding. Look at Twitter, spams, Square, Lightning. It's true that Square is dependent on Bitcoin not succeeding, but Twitter, I don't know. But well, it's also true is Bitcoin Cash has lost so many, not so many, but has lost supporters that yeah, not many people speak for it. For example, Rick Valkwinkel was a great promoter of Bitcoin Cash, but he stopped publishing a year ago or so. Well, I think Colin Talks Crypto also, like Colin Talks Crypto does not promote Bitcoin Cash anymore. He's positive about it. Here and there he will say something positive about it, but he doesn't make videos about it anymore. Yeah. Who else? Did we lose in the Bitcoin Cash community? We didn't lose them fully, but I think many of these people have a heart for it still, but they just stopped investing their time or money into it. People say that Roger Ver is also abandoning Bitcoin Cash, but I don't see that. Yes, he has said he has declined quite some interviews lately. He wants to take a step back. That's true, but he's still extremely positive about Bitcoin Cash, and he does do interviews from time to time, and he repeats the same story that he has always done, and continues to bring up Bitcoin Cash as a solution to bring financial freedom to the world. So I don't think that's accurate. I think that that's why I'm so bullish on Bitcoin Cash. Many people that are in the cryptocurrency world do know about Bitcoin Cash. Many influencers, for example, the guy from Coinbase, what's his name, or the guys from PayPal. Like, these people don't talk for Bitcoin Cash, but you can tell that they are positive. Actually, they have talked for Bitcoin Cash in the past, but sorry, not PayPal. I mean BitPay, and they will start talking again once it's not so controversial anymore. So there's a lots of fuel ready to be ignited. If Bitcoin Cash succeeds in gaining market share again, and succeeds in capturing some piece of the market that indeed it is the real Bitcoin, like there are many big influencers that will likely jump on it again. And I think that will cause it to go up a lot. Harry Garlands, welcome. What are your eyes on for investments in 2022? So I hope that crypto pumps a lot, and then I hope that I succeed in bringing down my exposure dramatically from 90% plus to less than 10%, and reinvest those profits into other investments that will likely not be in the crypto space, but in other opportunities. But what opportunities will that be in half a year, or in 1 year? That's, I don't know. But I'm looking right now at tourism still. I think that there must be opportunities there, considering what a severe damage this COVID craze has done to tourism worldwide in so many sectors of the tourism, hotels, resorts. I have invested in the airlines because of it, but I haven't invested in the resorts yet, and maybe I'll do that. I'm busy with that, investigating. You have islands, tropical islands in where I was in the Maldives recently, that you can buy, where you have also severe crisis, or safari parks in Kenya here, or hotels, beach resorts in Turkey. Like, I'm looking at all these different things to find opportunities, but I haven't really found it. But I think, like, a great investor invests in during crisis in these areas that are severely affected, and can hold that for the long term, 10-20 years. That's my plan with the airlines that I bought. It was a big airline crisis. I can hold this for 10 years. The airlines I bought, some are winners, others are losers. But I think the right strategy is to, and I'm doing this much more disciplined than before, just hold the investments. And before I would hold them all also the losers, but now I'm really considering of cutting out the losers. So I have, with the airlines, I have Spirit Airlines, Save, I have different ones, but I also have one of them that's called for Norwegian shuttle or airline, and that one has been a loser. They really have continued to dilute shareholders and raise new capital, and yeah, it's a loser. Some of these airlines have been winners for me, other losers, and I'm strongly considering of just selling it. And that's something new for me. I would in the past also keep losers quite often. And the same for oil tankers. I'm considering to cut them out. But I've been struggling so hard with it because I've said, like, okay, the fundamentals are still good, so why should I cut it? But now they start beating the thing here. I'm gonna go see if I can go somewhere else here. Let me see if I can go outside here. Where there's less noise. The problem, I do need capital for new investments. So where do I take that from? Do I take that from a winner or from a loser? And before I would take it from a winner, and now I'm really starting to consider to take it from a loser. And I think that's a very wise approach that I didn't do in the past. So hence why I'm considering to, a loser meaning, like, yeah, for the oil tankers, I still believe fundamentals because of a lack of investment in oil tankers, but still a high demand for oil as the economies worldwide grow. But I could be wrong about that, huh? And the price is not supporting me, and this is not a very high conviction trade for me, huh? Um, like I'm mainly good in investing in innovation. That's where I've made my money in crypto and Tesla, and so I can see where the future is going, huh? And oil tankers are not investing in the future, huh? It's like investing in a cigarette company in the 80s or 90s, when everybody was negative about cigarettes. It's priced quite cheaply. Yeah, it ended up being a very good investment, unpopular, but very good investment over the years, high returns, Marlboro and companies like that, Philip Morris. But is it the future? Was it the future in the 80s or 90s? No, the amount of smokers has gone down a lot. Huh? And it's true also for oil tankers, of course, and the oil industry. It's not the future. Huh? But I do agree you can make lots of money there, but is it my field of expertise? No. Huh? So for me, I would much rather invest in something like Virgin Galactic, for example, that I think is also like worth 10 billion, but has potential to go to 100 billion. Like that's the future. Space travel. I think we may see big steps there for us. Space travel. High orbit travel. That you could say it's space, but it's just still like just very high in the orbit. You're not traveling through space, but you do have like a very unique experience of seeing that the earth is indeed round and not flat with your own eyes. That seems like a thing that many people will be paying for over the next 10-20 years, and from that I think also can have a major impact on air travel, because the way Virgin Galactic is developing it is like, yeah, you go to space in a sort of semi-rocket plane, but because it's also a plane, can also be used really to go in only 2 to 3 hours from one side of the planet to the other side of the planet, and in the meantime you see space. Hey, seems like a nice ride also. So I think major growth is possible there, and that's what triggers me, like where I say like, wow, it's underrated, and that's where my edge has been in the past, and where I also go to. So these are the ideas that I'm playing with. Yeah. But for example, investing in tourism, you can't really say like tropical islands or safari parks. Is that the future? No. But it will do good in the future, because our children will want to also go see the lions in Africa, and will want to also see the palm trees on the islands, on the tropical islands. Like that's something that's here to stay. But is it a fast-growing industry? No. Is it an innovative industry? No. But for me, it's of interest because of the size of my portfolio has become big, and of course, thinking about the future, like I do need to like lock in some of these gains that I made in tech into something that's more less risky. And that if I die, that my family can continue to build out. And of course, being a tech investor, that they will never become, but they can manage some properties and may do well, or at least may continue to live a good life. So that's also from that perspective that I'm looking at these investments. So yes, my investment for 2022, I have some that I'm researching, but it's of course continually evolving. Thanks for asking, Harry. Great question. Let me see at the new comments. Mirko Tulner asks, hey Mark, why don't you consider moving to Dubai or some other Middle Eastern country like Qatar? Because they don't have draconian tax laws. That's true, but like the problem with the Muslim countries is yeah, they are very also authoritarian, but because they are from the Muslim is on average really behind the Christian world when it comes to freedoms, when it comes to sexual freedoms, um, and that's a real problem. Like, I don't want to live in a country where I can be jailed because I'm suspecting of being a homo, huh? Or where somebody rats me out to the government because I have sex with girls that I'm not married to. Like, this is so backwards to me that like that really is a big turnoff for me in these countries. I do believe that women, for example, should be free to drive and free to find a job. If they want to be career, no problem. Should be able to dress normally without curtains over their hat if they want to. So I find that that these countries have, of course, done great things. Dubai is great in many ways, but it's just a destination to visit as a tourist. It's not a place to live. So yeah, that's my opinion on these countries. You can find many countries in the world with very low taxes. So I mean, yeah, you don't have to go to there to get that. Shrida Reddy, what's your bigger goal in life as now you have made it? Thank you for the question, Sridhar, and nice to see you again. My bigger goal in life is to stand out and to do big things and great things. And also, yeah, to become very rich, but also to have made a real impact on people and have moved society forward in some way, in some valuable way. And I see so much misery still and injustice, and I think we can really, like, I'm not I do believe I'm not a anarchist in the sense that I think that society can run without government. I don't think that's the case. I do think we are a hierarchical species where you always will have top dogs, and where violence is always what's used to rule. But I do think there is a big difference between good leadership and bad leadership. And I think that in the future, like, we do need, like, that's really where so much value is lost for society, and I think we could really make a big difference there with crypto, because yeah, it's a major source of revenue for the authorities. Half of their revenue comes from money printing. If we succeed in seeing a free market of currencies flourish, then these monopolized government currencies will lose their function in society, just like the old telecom monopolies are gone. Once you open the market, of course, I mean, the risk is, of course, that we go back. Like, there is still a risk in crypto that it goes down the wrong way and we get like That's still possible. If governments over the world gang up with each other against crypto, they can set back crypto a lot. With draconian regulations, and they are trying that, but it's certainly not enough. But the question is, what will happen? Well, because right now crypto is a small threat to them. The politicians usually don't look much further than 5 to 10 years, and so since crypto is relatively small, they don't really see it as a big threat yet. But it does become bigger over time, and there will be a point where they will panic, and then the question is, what will happen? Will they go for it and try to destroy cryptocurrency and make our portfolios suffer? Because you can be sure that when they start to clamp down hard, if they would start to clamp down hard on crypto, then the valuation of cryptocurrency will go down a lot, and we will be set back also for decades. Will they do that or not? We don't know, but it's important to keep an eye on it. And for now, I see that it's like a 50-50 situation. On one hand, yes, they do create lots of fear, uncertainty, and doubt around cryptocurrencies, and they do create regulations, draconian regulations. But it's not enough to stop its growth. The populace in general remains positive about crypto and continues to invest in it, and so continues to adopt it. So, and I'm talking for the West here, not for the East, not talking for China and Russia, where they are much harder in clampdowns, and I don't know what the situation is there, but I suspect there too, actually, there is growth, albeit it's more among the young people, and it's more hidden because of legal risks. But very important to see that evolve, and I do hope that politicians take the approach of Gorbachev during communism, where they realize that this cannot be saved, so the best thing to do is to control the transformation from communism to capitalism, and to and not to try to protect it with violence. And I really hope that our politicians and our leadership continues to act that way, but that may change. But right now they do act that way. They do allow it to exist. Sebante, what annual return do you aim for with property investments? Well, I wouldn't look, of course, at tourism if we wouldn't be in a corona crisis. I do think that I hope to find investments that are severely discounted, and that allow me to double, triple my money in 3 years, and that are not underperforming to my total portfolio. So that's why I'm looking into this market primarily. So yeah, my goal is that I do get the same average returns there as I get in other markets, which is for me 40%, 40 to 50 per year. So Sridhar, what is your bigger goal in life? Did I answer that? Thanks for asking. Hi, Henrik V. Virgin is a scam company. I don't think that's the case. I think Richard Branson is a very wise businessman. Yeah. Ahmad Rao says, "Don't worry, sir. One day 45k people will watch you on this channel live." You think? Let's see. Let's hope. But the thing is that I'm an investor, and so I always have controversial opinion. Let's say Bitcoin Cash pans out and goes to 10k or 30k, the top that I predict. Then of course everybody will be positive about Bitcoin Cash, but likely I won't be positive about Bitcoin Cash then, and I will be a seller, not a buyer, and I will point the negatives of Bitcoin Cash while everybody is euphoric. And so that guarantees that my followership continues to stay low, and that's not a problem. You can't have it all in life. If you want to be popular, you have to please the populace, and the populace, they are not good investors. So I won't please the populace because I care about my portfolio returns, and so yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen for me. I'm also not sure that I want that. Though I have, of course, an ego also, and I'm also flattered with being popular, but yeah, we'll see. Huh? Thanks, though, for your support, Ahmad. I appreciate that. Ahmad asks me thoughts about ADA. Well, if you look at the cryptocurrency ranking, ADA is Cardano. There are quite a few coins that are higher ranked than Bitcoin Cash now. Some of which. How is the internet, guys? Because I flipped to all the names, but many of these projects are valued highly. Let me try here again. I'm sorry, my internet was dropping. But Cardano, I think, like so many projects that shoot to the top afterwards, see just a gradual long decline in market share and market ranking because their promise cannot be made. And so they don't get real user adoption over time. And they are quite centralized projects, very dependent on a few players. And so I don't see it going well for Cardano in the long term, no. Me Too projects. They say about Bitcoin Cash it's a Me Too project, but that's not the case. It's the original. It's the real deal. That's something very different than a Me Too project. That people represent Bitcoin Cash as a Me Too project, but that's not the case. But a project like I don't know, Ethereum Classic. Ethereum Classic is also as a reaction to Ethereum. But I think that, yeah, I've shared my opinion on that project. I don't think it had a future, and I was right. And I think the same about Cardano. I don't think Charles Hoskinson is a great entrepreneur. No. Wise man, interesting things to say, and but is severely overvalued, and his project also for what value his project will actually bring to users. Yeah. So yeah, almost 2 hours in, guys. I think I should shut it down.
I need to sleep.
Sorry?
I need to sleep.
Oh, you can ask my girlfriend, huh? So thanks so much for joining, guys. And I wish you all a great day.